Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to explore a powerful idea that might feel counterintuitive to some but can bring a sense of freedom, clarity, and peace to others. Living alone can often beat any relationship. I know it's a bold statement, but hear me out. The modern world is filled with noise, distractions, and the constant pull to seek validation through others. But the truth is, sometimes the most fulfilling relationship we can have is the one with ourselves. Let's dive into this, not from a place of loneliness, but from one of profound independence and inner strength. Living alone gives you an incredible opportunity for self-discovery, something many of us never fully embrace when we're constantly surrounded by others. It's easy to lose yourself in the noise of the world, to shape your identity based on the expectations of friends, family, or partners. But when you live alone, you are invited to explore the depths of who you really are, without the need for validation from anyone else. There's a kind of freedom in solitude that allows you to shed all of the roles you've been playing, all of the masks you've been wearing, and stand face to face with your true self. In these quiet moments, you start to hear the whispers of your heart. No longer do you drown in the opinions of others. Instead, you begin to truly listen to your own thoughts, your own desires, and your own dreams. You realize that you don't need someone else's permission to follow your path. It's in this space of self-reflection where your inner peace begins to take root. You start to understand your own rhythms, your own needs, and your own worth. You can't truly know who you are until you give yourself the time and space to listen to your inner voice. Living alone doesn't mean you are lonely. Quite the opposite. It's about finding peace within yourself, a peace that doesn't rely on the presence of others to feel complete. You learn how to fill your own cup, how to nurture your own soul, and how to love yourself in ways that were once foreign. There's a profound beauty in this, a peace that flows from the realization that you are enough exactly as you are. It's not dependent on anyone else's approval, on anyone else's love, or on anyone else's expectations. It's just you fully embracing the essence of who you are. And as you embark on this journey of self-discovery, you come to understand that the more you connect with yourself, the more you become at ease with the world around you. The noise and chaos that once overwhelmed you no longer has the same power. You start to live from a place of grounded confidence because you know who you are. You stop seeking happiness in external sources and realize that it's always been within you, waiting to be uncovered. That inner peace you've been searching for has always been right there, just waiting for you to embrace it. When you live alone, you begin to see that inner peace isn't just the absence of conflict or distraction. It's the presence of a deep, unwavering connection to yourself. It's an understanding that your happiness doesn't rely on anyone else but you. And it's in this understanding that your true power is born, because when you are at peace with yourself, the world around you begins to mirror that peace back to you. You become a magnet for the calm, the love, and the joy that you have cultivated within. Living alone, in essence, becomes the ultimate act of self-love. It's the space where you realize that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Living alone offers a profound sense of personal growth and freedom, one that is often hard to find in the complexity of relationships with others. When you choose to live alone, you are granting yourself the precious opportunity to grow in ways that align with your true essence without any external influences. Every decision you make, every action you take becomes a reflection of who you truly are, not who you feel obligated to be. There's an immense power in that freedom, the freedom to make choices that resonate with your heart and mind without hesitation or compromise. In relationships, we often find ourselves negotiating, adjusting, and reshaping parts of ourselves to accommodate the other person's needs and desires. While this is natural, it can sometimes obscure our own growth. But when you live alone, there's no one to answer to but yourself. You no longer have to bend or twist to fit into someone else's vision. You create the space to cultivate your dreams, not someone else's. You can take risks in your career, your personal passions, your creativity, without fearing the judgment or opinions of another person. Each step you take is a step toward a version of yourself that you can be proud of, and that version is shaped only by your own values and desires. This kind of independence is not about rejecting relationships, it's about discovering the power that comes from standing alone first. It's about realizing that your worth isn't dependent on another person's validation. When you have the freedom to pursue your goals on your terms, you create the foundation for a life that feels both expansive and fulfilling. It's the kind of freedom that allows you to redefine success, not by societal standards, but by your own measure. You become the architect of your own journey, designing your life with intention and authenticity. Living alone fosters a deep connection to your own internal compass. You begin to realize that you don't need permission from anyone to chase after your dreams. There's no external force dictating when or how you should act. You make choices because they feel right for you, and in doing so, you learn to trust yourself in ways that build confidence. When you live alone, you are constantly reminded that your happiness, your peace, and your growth are your own responsibility, and that's an empowering realization. Each day you wake up and find that you are in control of your own destiny. You carve out your own path, and in doing so, you also discover your own strength. The confidence that comes with living alone is not just about independence, it's about the recognition that you can handle whatever life brings your way. You are your own support system, your own motivator, your own source of inspiration. The challenges you face are your own to solve, and with every obstacle you overcome, you grow stronger, wiser, and more self-assured. This freedom, this growth, creates a life that feels vibrant and alive. It's not always easy, but the reward is immense, the feeling that you are living fully and authentically, carving out a future that is uniquely yours. And in this process, you come to understand that the more you grow, the more you evolve into the person you were always meant to be. Emotional independence is one of the most profound gifts you can give yourself. It is one of the greatest reasons why living alone beats any relationship. When you're on your own, you no longer have to rely on someone else to lift you up, to make you feel worthy, or to validate your existence. You begin to realize that your emotional well-being is not dependent on another person's actions, words, or moods. It's a realization that can be incredibly freeing, because it means you hold the power. You are the creator of your emotional state. This kind of independence doesn't come overnight. It's not a switch you flip and suddenly everything is perfect. No, it's a gradual journey, one that starts with learning to be comfortable in your own skin. When you live alone, you get the time and space to understand how you truly feel, not just how you think you should feel based on what others expect of you. It's an invitation to explore your emotions deeply, to experience them fully, and to respond in ways that are aligned with who you truly are, not who you've been told to be. I think about it. How many times have you allowed someone else's mood to dictate your own? How often have you found yourself altering your actions or your feelings to fit into someone else's world? Living alone removes that external influence. There are no unpredictable emotions from others to deal with. There's no need to constantly walk on eggshells trying to please or fix someone else. Instead, you start to take responsibility for your own happiness, your own peace, your own emotional landscape. And when you begin to nurture your own emotional health, you realize that it's a lot easier to find contentment when you're not waiting for someone else to provide it. Living alone forces you to confront yourself. And that can be a bit scary at first, I won't lie. The quiet moments can feel overwhelming because they bring up feelings you might have been avoiding. But the beauty of this is that in those moments of stillness, you start to realize that you have the power to heal and nurture yourself. You don't need someone else to fix you. You are your own greatest resource, your own greatest support system. When you live alone, you learn to hold yourself with kindness, to speak to yourself with love, and to stand firm in your own truth, regardless of outside opinions. And let's be clear, this isn't about building walls or shutting people out. It's about creating a space where you are so emotionally secure within yourself that no one else's emotions can define you. You learn to observe, to be present with others without losing your center. Emotional independence means you don't need to absorb the negativity or baggage that others bring into your life. You can hold space for someone without losing your peace, without letting their issues become your issues. You remain anchored in your own emotional clarity. When you begin to live emotionally independently, you start to make decisions not from a place of fear or need, but from a place of strength and self-respect. You choose relationships, jobs, and experiences that align with who you are, not from a place of emotional scarcity, but from one of abundance. You attract healthier, more balanced relationships because you no longer seek others to fill a void in you. You become the person you were always meant to be, whole, complete, and capable of creating your own happiness. The truth is, when you are emotionally independent, you experience a deeper connection with others. You show up more authentically because you no longer need validation or approval. You simply share yourself freely and openly, and you do so from a place of love and compassion, not from neediness or insecurity. And that, my friends, is the foundation of true, healthy relationships. Emotional independence isn't about projecting others, it's about learning to stand strong in your own self-worth. It's about understanding that your happiness is yours to create, and no one else has the power to take that from you. When you live alone, you get to practice this every single day. You get to build the emotional muscles that allow you to stay grounded no matter what's happening around you. And when you find that strength within, you carry it with you wherever you go. When we think of peace and solitude, many of us picture quiet moments, perhaps an afternoon in a peaceful room, or a walk in nature where the world seems to fade away. But the true power of solitude is far deeper than mere silence. It is in solitude that we reconnect with our own essence, the part of us that is often drowned out by the constant chatter of everyday life. In a world that is constantly moving, constantly asking for our attention, it is the moments spent alone that give us the chance to pause, breathe, and reflect. Peace is not simply the absence of noise or activity. It is a state of being that emerges when we have created space to listen to ourselves without the interference of others. It is the stillness that allows our minds to quiet, where we can begin to hear the wisdom that is already within us. In solitude, we no longer have to seek validation from others, we find it in ourselves. There is no need to explain, no need to justify. We are enough just as we are. Solitude gives us the chance to examine our lives from a fresh perspective. When we are constantly surrounded by others, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters to us. Our thoughts and desires get clouded by the expectations of the world around us. But when we spend time alone, we return to the core of who we are. We remember what lights us up, what makes us feel alive, and what truly matters. Solitude strips away the distractions, the noise, and the external demands. It allows us to reconnect with our passions and purpose, to realign with the values that guide us. In this space, we have the opportunity to hear our own voice clear and unfiltered. This peace and solitude are not meant to be feared or avoided. In fact, they are gifts, precious moments in which we can heal and grow. The solitude allows us to be fully present with ourselves without the need to perform or please anyone else. We don't need to wear any masks or play any roles. It is in this authenticity that we begin to feel the depth of peace, knowing that we are whole in our own right. The more we embrace solitude, the more we realize that it is not an absence, but a presence of our truest self, untouched by the opinions and judgments of others. Solitude is also an opportunity for growth. It is in the quiet that we face ourselves, confront our challenges, and cultivate the strength to move forward. It is during these solitary moments that we find the clarity to solve problems, to rethink strategies, and to develop a deeper understanding of who we are and what we want. When we allow ourselves to be alone, we create a space where growth can flourish, where we can evolve without limitation. Solitude gives us the room to think without pressure, to dream without boundaries, and to feel without fear of judgment. But there is another layer to solitude, the profound sense of connection it brings. It may seem paradoxical, but the more we embrace time alone, the more connected we become to the world around us. When we are not constantly seeking external stimulation or validation, we open ourselves to a deeper connection with nature, with the universe, and with the people we choose to spend time with. We begin to see the beauty in the world in a way we never could when we were distracted or dependent on others for our sense of fulfillment. In solitude, we find a profound connection to life itself. Peace and solitude offer us the chance to renew ourselves, to rediscover our purpose, and to deepen our relationship with our truest self. It is in this space that we find our greatest strength, our greatest clarity, and our greatest potential. When we learn to embrace solitude, we realize that it is not an empty space, it is a full, vibrant space where we are free to just be. And in this being, we find peace. When you live alone, you are granted the unique gift of truly prioritizing yourself, your needs, your health, and your well-being. In the hustle and bustle of life, it's easy to get swept up in the demands of others, constantly getting at yourself without taking time to nurture your own spirit. But when you are by yourself, you're forced to face the undeniable truth that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Self-care is no longer an afterthought, or something that happens only when all other duties are fulfilled. It becomes your primary focus. You begin to understand that your mental, emotional, and physical health are the foundation upon which everything else in your life is built. Living alone gives you the time and space to create routines that serve you, not anyone else. You wake up to the quiet comfort of your own rhythm, free from the rush of someone else's agenda. You can invest time in eating the food that nourishes your body and engaging in exercises that ground you, in doing activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. There are no compromises. If you need rest, you take it. If you need solitude, you honor it. No one else's needs or expectations interrupt your ability to put yourself first. And there's something incredibly powerful in this. The more you take care of yourself, the more your confidence grows. You realize that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion or approval. It is rooted in your own choices to care for your mind and body. When you prioritize self-care, you make a statement to the universe that you are worthy of love, respect, and attention. And that begins with offering those things to yourself. You start to recognize your own value and the importance of taking time to recharge, heal, and grow. Living alone also gives you the freedom to explore your personal interests without distractions. You can pick up hobbies that excite you, dive deep into passions you've neglected, and spend your time the way you choose, not based on someone else's needs. This sense of personal freedom enriches your life in ways that go far beyond the practical. It nourishes your soul. And as you do this, you start to see that the more you focus on your own well-being, the more your life becomes a reflection of balance, peace, and fulfillment. In this space of self-prioritization, you also learn to listen to your own body and mind, to honor their needs without guilt. You stop rushing through life, constantly striving to meet deadlines or expectations that aren't truly yours. Instead, you learn to trust that by taking care of yourself first, you are better able to show up for others, not from a place of exhaustion or resentment, but from a place of genuine abundance. You understand that self-care is not selfish, it is the very essence of being able to give and share your best self with the world. Not living alone brings a unique form of empowerment, one that is often overlooked in the hustle and bustle of seeking validation from external sources. There's a profound sense of strength that emerges when you realize you don't need anyone else to complete you or to prove your worth. You are whole as you are. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that a relationship with another person will somehow fulfill you, that someone else's love or attention will define your sense of self. But the truth is, the greatest form of love you can experience is the one that comes from within. When you live alone, you discover this in the deepest way possible. Imagine waking up every day knowing that your happiness, your contentment, your sense of accomplishment is entirely in your hands. It's not contingent upon anyone else's actions, moods, or opinions. You don't need someone else to lift you up or tell you that you're enough, because you've already learned that on your own. This realization doesn't come from a place of arrogance or ego, but from a deep, quiet understanding that you are the architect of your own life. The confidence that arises from this self-sufficiency is unmatched. You begin to walk taller, speak louder, and act with a certainty that radiates from within. There's something incredibly freeing about knowing that you are the captain of your own ship. When you live alone, you make decisions not based on what someone else wants, but based on what is right for you. The choices you make are no longer influenced by compromise or the need to please. You stop second-guessing yourself and start trusting your intuition. It's a powerful shift, and it builds confidence. Every time you face a challenge and overcome it on your own, you reaffirm your belief in your ability to navigate this world with resilience and strength. The more you prove to yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way, the more unshakable your confidence becomes. Living alone is a powerful opportunity to reclaim ownership of your life. You take the reins of your happiness, your health, and your peace. In that quiet, sacred space of solitude, you begin to realize that self-care and prioritization aren't luxuries, they are necessities for a fulfilled and thriving life. You begin to take pride in the life you are creating for yourself, knowing that the love and care you invest in yourself will always reflect back to you, growing ever stronger and more radiant with time. In closing, living alone is not about being isolated or disconnected from the world. It's about reconnecting with the most important person in your life, you. By prioritizing yourself, nurturing your body, mind, and soul, you unlock a deeper sense of purpose, clarity, and fulfillment. The peace that comes from self-care isn't just about pampering yourself, it's about creating a solid foundation from which you can build a life that is entirely your own. When you choose to live for yourself without compromise, you cultivate the strength, independence, and confidence to show up as the best version of you, both for yourself and for the world. The more you invest in your own well-being, the more you realize that the greatest relationship you can have is the one you nurture with yourself. So embrace the power of living alone. It's an invitation to grow, thrive, and become the person you were always meant to be.